They could bring in someone who was a guard instead of a forward because of the way the rotation was shaping out. He made such micro points that it said to me, they think the micro points are going to be the difference in whether they win or not. That's how close they think it's going to be. That doesn't mean that he doesn't think they're going to win. I think they have every confidence. But this idea that they're going to blow out every team.
I didn't say blow out. I said 15 and give me 5, and I consider that a blowout. Whatever the point spread is, add 5 to the blowout. If the point spread was 6 and they won by 11, it's a blowout.
Look, I'm interested to see what happens against Serbia. Serbia had crappy three-point shooting in their last game. 13%, 3 out of 22. I don't expect that to continue. Now, there is a question if Nikola Jokic is actually going to play in this game because it's the second night of a back-to-back, but we do expect him to. Nikola was, in fact, at the United States last game to do some scouting, which we don't normally see.
Is he running from Embiid or something?
Exhibition game.
Is he running from Embiid?
Yeah, I think he's terrified. I think we will see him play partly, you know, for that reason, too. I think he wants to make a statement.
By the way, before you leave behind Grant Hill, any further inside info or reflections on Jalen's contention that it was Nike who kept him off the team?
Yes, he addressed that directly with me. He said that he said what he said publicly too. He said there's absolutely no truth to it. You know, he made the point publicly. I was a FILA athlete for most of my career, and you know, I played on Nike-sponsored teams. Now, Grant Hill did not criticize Nike the way Jaylen Brown has over and over again.
I'm rolling with Jaylen.
So I don't think it's a direct comparison. Grant absolutely insisted to me privately, and we go way, way back. He said Nike had nothing to do with this. Grant Hill is known for being true to his word, so I'm going to have to take him at his word. Does that mean that there's not some discussion or some influence? I don't know. I'm not in those rooms. I also saw Jaylen Brown yesterday and spoke to him for a while, and he absolutely believes that that is going to be an issue. He was at Summer League. So, you know, it's you know, you have two guys with excellent character, I would say, Jaylen Brown and Grant Hill, who disagree on something.
Different kind of character. It's like
they're
say the right thing character and say whatever is in your heart character.
But Jaylen Brown is a high character guy.
He is.
And so I respect what he believes, but I, of course, also respect Grant Hill.
Yeah, I think Grant Hill's telling the truth. But I think Jaylen Brown's telling the truth, too.
Well, that's what you know, two things can be true. We say that a lot on this show, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was an interesting conversation for sure.
You brought up the biggest X factor in this whole tournament to me. The guy that the great John Hollinger calls the cheat code, and that's Kevin Bleepin Durant, who has a calf pull as we speak, and I don't know the extent of it. I just know when you have a calf pull, if it's this serious that's keeping you out this long, if you've had them, they just nag and nag and nag. And it's one of those where you think it's gone, and then you step on the cord even, and one wrong step, and it just bites you again. It's like, give me a break. The last time Kevin had a serious calf pull, as you might recall, was in the NBA Finals. And he finally said, you know what, I'm just going to try it anyway. And he went out, and because all those things are attached, each are interwoven down in the bottom of the base of your leg going into your ankle, the Achilles snapped. And it cost Kevin a whole next season. So you can't tell me that's not in the back of his mind right now, as he's, what, 36 years of age? So he has to be thinking, gee, should I risk this? Because he is the greatest scorer for us in the history of our international basketball.
But he does have time. I mean, you talk about the 23 days in between now and when play starts. I expect him to be there when real Olympic play starts, but he doesn't have to be. They could play that whole first half round robin without him, and they would certainly, in my mind, safely get out of that into the, quote, medal rounds of the quarterfinals on. So they could wait that long. I absolutely think Kevin Durant is the poster boy for the concern for could a calf injury turn into an Achilles, because we all saw what happened. And in fact, it's his name we evoke, right? When we were worried about Joel Embiid doing the same thing, it was like, remember Kevin Durant, remember Kevin Durant. But he doesn't have to be as ready as everyone else does to make an impact when we get to that quarterfinal on second week.
Do either one of you know the drop-dead date that they have to make a decision on whether or not he stays on the team before they replace him? Because there's a date that's coming up at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's before the Olympics. But I don't, you know, look, I haven't gotten the impression from anyone I've talked to on that team that they think it's serious enough that they're going to have to replace him. I think that they are being smart with his injury, Kevin is being smart with his injury, and they also know what he can bring. Yes, Steve Kerr is working on his rotations and trying to figure out who can mesh with who.
Any five, Steve, listen to me. Pick five.
Well, Kevin Durant could certainly go on any five, right? I mean, he's one of the most versatile players we have ever seen. And when he's switched around teams inside the NBA, one of the things that's been so remarkable is he's needed exactly 0 days to get used to his new teammates. I wouldn't expect him to be any problem here, even if he has to wait a little bit.
I assume it's July 27th. We start the 28th, and you'd have to declare your roster just before you start you play the first game in that pool play. Okay, back to Kevin. To me, he is the most unselfish superstar we've ever seen, the most efficient scoring superstar we've ever seen, which makes him the cheat code for Olympics because he can step in and blend in with any of those other superstars, some of whom just need the basketball. They just can't. It's like air to them. Like they can't breathe without some basketball in their hands. On every possession, they need to touch the basketball. LeBron's obviously sort of in charge of the basketball, but we have other scorers, Devin Booker. They just need to touch the basketball. Kevin doesn't need every possession to touch the basketball because on low shots, he'll get you 20 in an Olympic game. He can take 8 shots and get you 20 points because he makes most of them. And that mid-range is so lethal and so automatic that he's the difference maker here. And then, Keyshawn, to your point, if the bigs get in foul trouble or ineffective, if you put him in the middle, he's only 7. We went back and forth about this, but he's 7 feet tall.
Right.
And he's definitely 7 feet 5 inches long because he's enormously tall and long. And when he wants to, if he has to play in the middle of the floor, and remember, there's no defensive 3 seconds, so you can just go stand under the basket. It was hurting us the other day because Australia just put Josh Giddey, just stood him up under the basket, and LeBron would try to post up, and all of a sudden, Josh Giddey's just standing there. So it's, and they won't call, the defensive 3 seconds because it's not in the rules. So the point is, Kevin can do that for us, and you can get away with the smaller lineup with Kevin. He is incredibly valuable, and to me, I think we would lose one of those games without him. I just believe it. If he cannot go, I think we'll be in big trouble because he is made for international basketball. And it seems like he'll be okay because they're not, to your point, nobody's saying anything. I haven't heard one discouraging word about him.
Here's something interesting I picked up when I was at Summer League the past couple of days talking to Clippers people. It does seem as if the Kawhi decision had something to do with not wanting the situation to just sort of hang there from Team USA, right? So Kawhi could have possibly played in these Olympics as planned, and certainly he wanted to and started camp wanting to. But the Team USA was very big on, we only want to go so long in this exhibition season without knowing who our team is. Yeah. So that tells me that if they had serious doubts about Kevin Durant, they would have made that call already, and they haven't made that call. And they are about to play one more game, and then they are going to London. They are going to Paris. This is their team, as far as I'm concerned, and what it looks like from the outside.
Well, they can go get De'Aaron Fox or go get
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
I don't know that he would do it now, but yeah, they could go find another body if need be.
So, do you agree or disagree about this team badly needs Kevin Durant? You're.
I think they got enough. I think they got enough, but he certainly, obviously, would take it to another level. I mean, you never say you can't use Kevin Durant. Of course they can. But I still believe they're so much better than their opponents. I understand your thought process and Rachel's thought process is that the international game, the players have caught up to the U.S. Again, they're not all together.
Yes.
That's one thing that you got to remember when you talked about the 2 guys that was drafted in the first round. They went to separate teams. They didn't go together. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So this team is just locked and loaded, and they understand that they can't be an embarrassment like, was it 08? What team was that lost?
04.
04.
Yes.
You can't, they understand that. Yeah. And it may not be every game is a blowout, but it's not. From what I saw against Canada, we down by 11. Come on over here with us, Ant-Man. Get in, boo-boo. We up by whatever. Then we go on and cruise to that one. We up by 24, getting ready to go up by 30 in the third quarter. Then all of a sudden, and they start messing around. And then all of a sudden, Australia catches up and everybody goes, oh, my God, this team's not, there's something wrong. Embiid is this, I'm not worried about that.
Okay, but I'm going to remind you, Australia caught up while shooting 4 of 18 from 3.
I understand.
If they had made 10 of 18,
and
we'd
guess
be
what?
having a different conversation.
And the dude who's the deadliest three-point shooter in NBA history was 1 of 6.
True.
If he'd have just hit 2 of those, you see what I'm saying?
No, I know.
But there are areas where they are close enough. They have to address them and be concerned about them during games. The turnovers they had the other night, 18 to 13, right? So they had 18 turnovers compared to Australia's 13. Australia had 68 points in the paint. They're
Yeah, I don't
going
even
to
know what
have
that
to
is.
address stuff like that.
I don't know what that means. Like 68 points in the paint, but I don't know what happened.
It's not good.
Oh, you know what it means.
I know what it means. No, I know what it means, but I don't know what it means. Why did they let that happen?
Well, again, because the grimier game that you were just talking about is the game Australia was playing. They were playing with that under the basket, the backdoor cuts, the things like that you will see these international teams playing with. Devin Booker said after the game, we will not win a gold medal playing like that. So that tells me that they have work to do, that these games are not all going to be blowouts. Should they win? I absolutely think they should win.
Of course
Are there
they got
going to
work
be a
to do,
few
Rachel.
tense, exciting moments? I think there will.
They got a lot of work to do, and they got a lot of time to work on the work that they need to do.
All right. So Rachel was at Summer League. Bronny is going to play again tonight in Summer League in Vegas. Bronny criticism, fair